Okay, thank you. Hi, welcome to Manchester Film Festival. We're here with Michael Meckler and your film Sebastien. Welcome to Manchester. How are you finding it so far?
Thank you so much. It's great. I'm very happy to be here. Unfortunately, it's quite a flying visit, so I'm not getting to see that much of the city. But it's my first time in Manchester actually. So
Oh, is it actually?
yes, but I had a chance to kind of walk around a little bit earlier today, and that was lovely.
Yeah. Well, you have to come back. You have to come back. Come next year. Yeah. So you're here with your film Sebastien. Would you mind giving a little intro to what the film's about?
It is about a young queer writer living in London who begins a double life as a sex worker to research his debut novel,
Yes.
and kind of develops this sort of crisis of identity, and is asking those questions about who gets to tell whose stories. In this moment that really values authenticity of voice, do you need to have lived experience to be able to write about something? But then it's also a seeking to be a really kind of like frank and honest look at gay sex work today as well.
I think we're seeing quite a few films in the last few years looking kind of more honestly at sex work. What are you hoping to kind of contribute to that discourse with this film?
Well, I mean, I really wanted to make a sex positive film, a sex work positive film, and I think I was really seeking and kind of like setting out to, interrogate just the idea of like why should sex work be devalued in any way, or like thought of as like in any way a lesser job than Max's job, for instance, as a journalist or a writer.
Yeah.
And really kind of ask that question, why shouldn't he also be able to, be a sex worker at the same time as being a journalist, as an author? What is it about sex work that still, whilst of course I think, it has become kind of a bit less stigmatized, there are still so many lingering stigmas as well. And then also this idea that I think, has been really lingering, that a sex worker needs to have some kind of trauma behind, behind the decision of going into sex work. So I really wanted, or the sex work is always like a last resort. So I really wanted to kind of question those and look at sex work as a choice rather than something that is done as for lack of choices.
And you really see Max kind of struggle with that idea during the film as well. He says he's very sex positive, and then he's also quite clearly like dealing with a lot of shame. Was it difficult to kind of create a character that is like that grey, I suppose?
It's interesting because I did set out to kind of craft a film where we are constantly as an audience as well, really asking questions about him and also being surprised maybe by some turns of events, and it really be kind of this journey of, for Max it's a journey of self-discovery, and for the audience I wanted it also be a journey of going on this journey of discovery with the character. So it was really intentional in that sense, and I was also inspired by some kind of characters from the history of French cinema, in Pierre Lasanozamu as well, a film that is cited in the film as well.
Yeah.
The lead character is also kind of quite opaque in that sense, and discovering themselves through their sexuality.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was so sure the final shot was a reference to 10,000 Blows. And if it, at the end of the Truffaut film where he turns to the camera and it goes like, and if that wasn't it, that would have been quite embarrassing. The other film that really comes through for me was this sense of community. You see him kind of attempt to establish community in different places, and then kind of finds communion in unlikely places, especially in terms of the queer community. Like intergenerational solidarity can be quite rare. How important was it for you to kind of put that on screen and show that there is another way that isn't, gay men over 30 hating gay men under 30 and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's something that that kind of really that sort of occurred to me, I think, through the writing of the film, that it really is, that these encounters really are provide a different kind of context, and a rare context as well, for different generations of gay men to meet each other and kind of get to know each other in a different way. And I think, kind of once I like had that in my mind, definitely I also wanted to make a film that was countering in many ways the kind of the horrible ageism that is so prevalent in the gay community. And it was very much about humanizing the clients as well. I think we're so used to seeing very reductive, kind of simplistic portrayals of clients, and people have so many different reasons for hiring a sex worker, and I really wanted to kind of shine a light on the humanity of the people as well, and their needs, and like what kind of why are they engaging a sex worker, and thinking about community and queer community is definitely a film that also touches on kind of queer alienation, but also just more kind of general alienation of life in the big city, and for these 20-somethings, like Max has probably a few housemates, but it's very much this life of kind of existing beside one another, not necessarily making those connections even within like a shared house, and people really kind of leading these parallel lives in that sense.
Just to round up this little bit of the interview then, what are you hoping that the audience here today kind of come away with? Like, what's the key takeaway from your film?
Well, definitely I want them, if I want them to kind of continue maybe reconsidering, if they hold kind of any negative views about sex work, that's certainly something that I want to kind of keep countering through it. And then it's definitely a film that's kind of made more to provoke questions and ask questions than kind of provide answers. So all of the these questions that are so prevalent in today's discussions about the right to tell stories, and like who gets to tell whose stories, and maybe it offers kind of a slightly extreme kind of viewpoint to it, in that sense of thinking about Max's method as kind of like method writing, like for a method actor, of like needing to live out those experiences. But but also it's a like I think of it, whilst it's focusing on a queer character and on a sex worker character, I think of it as quite broadly as well as just coming of age story of again a 20-something trying to make it and kind of find themselves in a big city, and I think there's a lot that people can relate to in that.
Finding the universal in the specific kind of
exactly
thing. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.